Always wear your PPE, personal protective equipment. In this case, it's safety glasses, earplugs, respirator if you feel, and gloves to protect your hands from the chemicals. These videos are made for entertainment purposes only. Thank you and enjoy.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing the hub. I was going to make a quick couple shots with the brake drums. It's pretty easy stuff. I'm going to be using the axle stands, forklifts behind me. As always, the trailer is still attached to the hitch. So we're going to use So you have to take the retaining cap off that gives you access to the hub. We have the washer that holds on the nut. Now we just take that off. So the retaining nut was just on there loosely, which is what you want. It came off no problem. We have the bearing, which is right here. That's going to come off into the hub. There we go. So that's the bearing. Now the hub. Itself is pretty good. Lots of meat. We'll take a look at what's going on here. So everything in here looks good. Like if there's a bunch of cobwebs and stuff and there's some spider eggs down here, like I don't see any issues. Like I don't see any pieces of metal, shrapnel and stuff. Like it looks pretty daggone good. Like even on the inside of here, it looks as it should, as I'm used to. Like there's some wear here, but that's from this rubber. And like the bearings all seem good. Like there's lots and lots of grease. There's not run dry or anything. Like the bearing over here has all its pieces. There's no, like it's not falling apart. That's just a washer. Again, I'm gonna clean all this stuff up and everything. Re-grease it all. But no, there's no dirt or debris or anything in it. The bearings look solid. So to me, this just needs an adjustment. Like the drums run really, really free. There's very, very little friction. So clean everything up and set it all back together, see what happens if there's any other issues. Hey guys, remember how I was saying about the spider? Found it. Come on. You see it there? This poor little bat, like this poor little bugger. There we go. He is not happy. I ruined his day. So get out of here, go free, go do your thing.
It's always best to take a photo of the work you're about to accomplish so that when you go to put it all back together, you know exactly how it goes back together. So remember, take a photo for safety's sake. After this, I went to the auto shop and I want to compare it to when right off the shelf, exactly the same.
So I've got the spring kits, the pads are good, that's out of the picture. So we're going to clean all this up. We're going to use anti-seize to keep the some of the sides here and up here and stuff like that all free, clear up the dust, clean up all the grease and everything. I'm going to use brake clean and some paper towels, wire brush to clean all this stuff up, and then start reassembling it all. So guys, I cleaned everything. Used the brake clean, sprayed all this down, used the wire brush, cleaned all this down, put the new spring kit in. They didn't have the right pads, as you know. They had the right pads, but they didn't have these pads separate because they don't need the whole assembly. But that all being said, everything looks really good. and when you put the brake drum on, you want it to just fit. So I wish I had 2 hands free, I'll be able to show you, but we'll try it with one and see how that goes. I know it's tight, and that's what you want. So you want it to be just snug enough to fit on. There you go. And just enough so you can move it, right? See how that sounds? That means there's no debris in there that's not supposed to be in there. So all the brake dust and everything else, the spider webs, all that stuff that was making that noise, gone. So let's put the bearing in, the bearing retainer, the bolt, and then the bolt retainer, plus then the whatchamacallit, the easy hub access. And then at that point, we just go on to the next one. So the brake drum's back on, so on top of the hub, bearing's back in. I tightened it up to just before loose. Bearings, like the nuts on, and that's what I tightened up. The retaining clip, and then that's what keeps the nut from moving. It just goes right over top of the nut, and that's it. So she's nice and smooth right now. I do have the brake adjustment tool. It's basically an angled flathead screwdriver, and then as I get all these done, I'll be adjusting them afterwards, and I'll put the lug nuts back to torque spec, and we're good to go. I always start these by hand, that way they're good. Put NECs on the lugs. So this is what it looks like. A little bit of cobwebs in here. It's right there. It's looking good. Don't see too much, so we'll just disassemble all of this, clean everything, and then reassemble it all back together with the appropriate lubricant where it needs to be. So yeah, looks pretty daggone good. Yeah. Alrighty. So everything's been reassembled, lubricated, new spring hardware. The drum has been scuffed out, cleaned out all the brake dust. So we're going to slap it all back together, tighten everything up, and then we'll move on to the other side. So the retaining nut is on the axle. We're going to do the retaining washer next, which is this guy. Very important. It goes on a very specific way. There's a notch right here. You just place it over the top. It just clicks into place. It's a little easier when you have 2 hands, but hey, this is a low budget YouTube video. There you go. See, that's where the notch is. It should click in momentarily. And then after that, make sure the seats. That's what you want here. That kind of smoothness. There we go. Okay. Now the washer's on. The easy hub. Pop that in there. Nice and gentle like. Grease it. Put the wheel back on.
Alright guys, up your nuts on my hand. Air pressure. All the tires up. Go on to the next side.
Remember yesterday I talked about this, how chewed up the cable was? Well, today we got a brand new one. So I'm just going to unbolt it here, bolt it back up, make terminations. And then we're good. Alright, so we're underneath the trailer. I was able to repurpose this key connector. even though it's like in the shape of a Y, as you see there. A bunch of other T connectors, Y connectors, whatever you want to call them. And I put a butt connector on the other wire that was attached to this, and that's for the emergency brake portion of the trailer. So now we're going to clean this all back up, put it all back in the box. I got some electrical tape just dangling from my hand. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit, keep the water out of it, and we're going to get back to working on the brakes. So what I've gone and replaced is the 12-volt breakaway switch. So basically, this is attached to the trailer down here. When this, say this uncouples or this bucks off or whatever, this is meant to be pulled. And when this gets yanked out, go back there. When this gets yanked out, oh wow, there you go. Brand new, so it's gonna be tight. This will activate the switch, brakes get fully engaged, trailer starts to stop. So that's why it's always important to have this attached so that everything stays perfect. So let me just go over this with you guys. The way to do this, to have the breakaway switch in here, it's a bit annoying. You put this through. You see the loop down there? You put that through. Tighten it up just like that. So this is now connected to the trailer. There's a bee buzzing around. And then you connect this to there. And that way, this is now a part of the hitch. So you put your what do you call it? Your chain back on. There we go. Done. That's what it's supposed to look like. Just like so.
So if you look at the tread pattern, you'll see that the tire is underinflated, so it's more on the other sides of the tires, so the left and right side, even the middle side, still with tread. Now this next tire is a little bit of the same, but it has a more even tread wear pattern. So the tire that I would replace would be the first one I showed you.
spider webs. Last one. Looks good, looks clean. Let's get her covered. brakes on. Let everything check. Let's see. So it says C connected. Okay. Still says 0. Okay, that's what it's set at. Okay, so e-brake off. There's no jack stands. Check everything. Check. Oh, came back some brakes. It's still a bit iffy. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so doors are all locked, tools are all away, axle stands are all up. Yep. Okay, so we're just gonna put the. There you go. So this is gonna need some effort. Okay, so this is max. So yeah, I'm gonna have to readjust these things. Figured that. So I'm gonna have to lift it again. So this is a good sign, it's not flashing. And then when you're pressing the brakes, so now it's all about the connection and setting it up. So it takes us a couple seconds, so this has to be, in my mind, I'm gonna look it up online. This is saying that things need to be resituated, which they do. And then I have to, after driving a little bit, I'm going to check everything too. And then, what do you call it? Check for clearance, and then check for, after driving for a little bit, check again for clearance, make sure everything is within a few millimeters, and then it's good to go. But this should be a lot taller, like that tall, not the sliding back and forth to 2.7 or 8. That is a better number, I think. I'll take a look at the videos. But all in all, it's a plus. Cool.